I was 14 the night my world cracked open. Not shattered, cracked. The kind of break that looks small at first but widens with time until everything falls apart. It was a cold evening in Vermont, early winter, the kind where the house felt too quiet and the shadows felt too long. I had gone downstairs for a glass of water, tiptoeing carefully because Mom hated hearing footsteps after 10 p.m. I didn't want another lecture about respecting quiet hours. I heard their voices before I reached the kitchen. My parents almost never talked at night. Dad usually fell asleep in the recliner watching documentaries, and Mom stayed up scrolling through Pinterest boards of home decor she never actually bought. But tonight they were whispering, urgent, sharp, wrong. So I stopped and listened. Mom, we can't keep him here, Daniel. It's getting worse. Dad, I know, but sending him away, are you sure? My heart slammed so loudly, I was afraid they'd hear it. Mom, yes, we have to, before something happens. Dad, so the boarding school will take him. Mom, they said they've handled cases like this before. Cases? Cases like what? I wasn't sick. I wasn't violent. I didn't even talk back like most kids my age. But they were planning to send me away. Not thinking about it, planning. The kitchen light glowed against the hallway wall, their silhouettes moving slowly. I pressed my back to the wall, confused, angry, terrified, emotions blurring into a single icy wave. Mom, no one can know Daniel. If word gets out, it'll destroy us. Dad, he's our son. Mom, and that's why we're doing this. I stumbled backward, almost knocking over a picture frame. Something inside me knew this wasn't just about grades or behavior. Something deeper. Something they were hiding. And that was the moment I realized. My parents weren't who I thought they were. The next morning, they acted normal. Mom made pancakes. Dad asked how I slept. They smiled too much. They moved too carefully. It was like they were actors rehearsing a script they barely understood. I played along. I laughed at Dad's jokes. I told Mom breakfast tasted great. I went to school, came home, did homework and stayed quiet. All while replaying their words in my head like a looping nightmare. Before something happens. Cases like this. No one can know. Sending him away. What was wrong with me? At school, I kept checking my reflection in windows, wondering if there was something on my face, something everyone else could see. I felt like a glitch in my own life, wrong, misplaced, broken. And at home, the pretending got worse. Mom started checking on me more often, opening my door without knocking, staring at me like I was some kind of puzzle missing pieces. Dad watched me with worry in his eyes. He tried to talk to me, but I pushed him away gently. Because every conversation felt like a countdown. 3 days later, the truth found me. It arrived in the form of a cream-colored envelope left accidentally on the hallway table. My mom was terrible at hiding things. She always forgot where she placed anything she considered important. Her handwriting was on the front. Forwarded to the Ashford Institute for Youth Rehabilitation. Rehabilitation. I wasn't a drug addict. I wasn't violent. I wasn't crazy. Hands shaking, I slid the letter out. The first paragraph punched the air out of my lungs. As previously discussed, we believe our son is exhibiting early symptoms of dissociative behavioral anomalies, similar to the patterns observed in the 2008 Cold Hollow case. What was the Cold Hollow case? I had never heard of it. Never heard of any anomalies. The letter went on. We agree he must be transferred discreetly to avoid community concern. We fear he may become unpredictable if aware of our intentions. Unpredictable. Me. I stared at those words until my vision blurred. Either they were lying, Or they knew something about me that I didn't. I needed answers. And answers usually lived in one place. The attic where my parents kept boxes labeled old stuff, do not touch. That night while they slept, I climbed up quietly with a flashlight. After digging through Christmas decorations and old report cards, I found a box with my name on it. Inside it were baby photos, a hospital bracelet, my birth certificate, and a CD labeled Cold Hollow, 2008 incident report. Why would my baby things be stored with a case file? I sprinted downstairs and loaded the CD into Dad's old laptop. A black screen, white text, confidential, state psychological division. Then a video, a grainy clip of a hospital room, a doctor speaking quietly to the camera. Subject is the only survivor of the Cold Hollow cabin event. Both parents deceased. Cause, unknown. Child found in forest, unresponsive, displaying unusual calmness despite exposure. Authorities suspect. The audio distorted. The video glitched. But one thing was clear. The child in the video, the one lying in the hospital bed, was me. I didn't remember any of it. Not the cabin. Not the event. Not my real parents. Because the people raising me weren't my biological family. They adopted me. And they had been hiding the truth my entire life. The next day I skipped school. I biked all the way to the local library, powering through cold winds and rising panic. I needed to know what happened in 2008. It took hours, and I almost gave up until I found it. A news article buried deep in old archives. The Cold Hollow tragedy. The headline alone felt like a slap. Details unfolded like a nightmare. A cabin deep in the woods. A family of 3. A sudden, unexplained incident during a winter storm. The parents found but the child missing. Authorities said the cabin showed no signs of forced entry. No animals. No intruders. Nothing. Just a destroyed room and 2 parents dead. The only clue. A trail of tiny footprints leading into the trees. And stopping abruptly after 30 feet, as if the child vanished into thin air. I felt sick. Was I that child? And what happened in that cabin? Everything changed the day Mom walked into my room holding a suitcase. "Pack up," she said softly. Too softly. Dad stood behind her, eyes glossy with guilt. "We're leaving tomorrow morning." I swallowed hard. "Where are you taking me?" Mom hesitated. Dad looked at the floor. And then she said it. "To Ashford." I felt my heart collapse into itself. Everything I overheard, everything I found. It was all real. They weren't just scared of what happened in the past. They were scared of me. That night I didn't sleep. Instead, I packed a backpack quietly with a jacket, my saved-up allowance, snacks, a flashlight, and the CD with my case file. At 3:12 a.m., I crept downstairs, opened the back door, and stepped into the freezing darkness. I didn't know where I was going. All I knew was that I would not let them send me away to some institute like I was a threat. I ran. Through yards. Across silent streets. Past the frozen lake. Into the woods. The same kind of woods where they once found me as a toddler. And for the first time in days, I felt like I was breathing again. I don't know how long I walked. Hours maybe. The trees blended together, the silence pressing in. I kept expecting to see something, some memory, some clue. But nothing came. Until I reached a small clearing. And saw the cabin. Not a cabin. The cabin. Old. Rotting. Half collapsed. exactly like the pictures from the articles. I stepped inside. The air felt colder, still, heavy, and suddenly memories flooded back. Not in order, not clearly, but flashes. A woman screaming, a man shouting my name, a shadow in the corner, a door slamming, me hiding under a table, glass shattering, wind howling inside the cabin like a voice. My parents, my real parents, not murdered, running, terrified of something inside the house. Something connected to me. I stumbled backward. No wonder my adoptive parents were scared. No wonder they wanted to send me away. Something happened in this cabin years ago. Something they never wanted me to remember. I heard crunching leaves behind me. My adoptive parents stood at the tree line, panting, faces pale. They had followed me. Mom took a step forward, hands shaking. "We didn't want you to find this place." Dad swallowed hard. "We're not afraid of you, we're afraid for you." I stared at them, confused, angry, exhausted. Dad stepped closer. "You didn't hurt your real parents." I froze. "Then who did?" They exchanged a look. Mom whispered, "Whatever happened in that cabin wasn't human." The trees seemed to hold their breath. Dad nodded slowly. "You survived something impossible. You were found completely unharmed in a freezing storm. That's why the government got involved. That's why everyone wanted to study you." He stepped closer. "We saved you. We adopted you to keep you away from them. That institute isn't a school, it's a facility. They want to experiment on you." My knees nearly buckled. Mom's voice broke. "We were trying to protect you. We didn't know any other way." For the first time in days, I actually looked at them. Not as enemies. As the only people who ever truly tried to keep me safe. And then the ground trembled beneath us. A low, rumbling sound echoed through the woods, growing louder, closer. My mom grabbed my arm. Dad whispered, "It found us." The rest of the night felt like a blur. Running through the woods. A monstrous howl behind us. Branches snapping. Footsteps that weren't human. Whatever had haunted that cabin all those years ago. Whatever had destroyed my real family. Had come back. For me. But this time, I wasn't a helpless child. We ran until sunrise, until the woods gave way to a highway where a passing truck finally stopped to help us. We never went back to Vermont. Never spoke of the cabin again. Never talked about whatever chased us. My parents abandoned their home, their jobs, everything, just to keep me safe. And for the first time I realized, they didn't want to send me away. They were terrified someone else would take me. Someone dangerous. Someone connected to that night in Cold Hollow. I'm 24 now. We live under new names. A new town. A new life. I still don't know what really happened in that cabin. I still have nightmares of the shadow in the corner. I still wonder why only I survived. But one thing is clear now. My parents didn't plan to send me away because they were afraid of me. They planned it because they were afraid of losing me. And every winter, when the wind howls a little too loudly outside, I sleep with one eye open. Because somewhere out there in the woods of Vermont, something is still looking for me.